What's going on, everybody? Today I saw the comments. Thank you guys for commenting. I appreciate that. I see some people like the video and all that stuff. I appreciate that a lot, guys, because I thought this information would go to nobody, but as long as one person sees it, I'm happy. I just want to point out one thing that a lot of people are pointing out already is that it was on a blood moon. The thing is with what's going on with Celeste, David, all that stuff, she was found on September 8th. 12:20 p.m. in the tow yard everyone's talking about. And ironically, the super blood moon, they call it a super blood moon. And to double check on that is right here. The super blood moon refers to the total lunar eclipse on September 7, 2025, which is the day that is her birthday, right? Now, the thing is, this total lunar eclipse does go into the early hours of Monday, which was the day that she was actually found, which is September 8th. So you can just check right here, September 8th, where she was found. People weren't connecting why, oh, but it wasn't, they couldn't have killed her on that day, September 7th, because she was decomposing, etc. Yes, but the thing is, the whole point was so that she would be found when the eclipse was over. Because it is kind of like a ritual. It is kind of like a blood sacrifice. It is actually some type of ritual that they used to do eons ago. I'm talking ages ago. Ages ago where people back then, they used to do sacrifices, kind of like Bohemian Grove, where they do human sacrifices and, they pretend or they actually do sometimes. Now, I'm not saying that he did. I'm just alleging here. And the thing is, this is where it gets a little weird. Me and my friend were just talking in Discord, and I asked him if he has a song named Super Blood Moon. And ironically, he does. He's called named Super Blood Moon, and he did it with Holly Hubbarstone. Now, that kind of sounds like Tombstone, Holy Tombstone. If, that's kind of what I kind of think. I don't know, that's just my opinion, but I know it's kind of pushing it. Anyways, the date that this was released was July 28th. And if you check the date, if you check from the date, July 28th from 2023, which is the exact day, to the date that she was found dead, after the blood, which was the super blood moon ended, it was 773 days. Now, this is when it gets a little weird. All right, you guys have to bear with me, but this is actually how it works. Numbers, letters, all those things is symbology. It's symbols and everything. That's how it goes, So the thing is, it was exactly 25 months, right? 25 months, or you can call it 2 years, 1 month, 11 days, etc. But it's exactly 773 days. Now, you're probably thinking, what does 773 have to do with anything? If you just look into basically what 773 is, it is a prime number. And basically, the prime number, what it is, if you just type in, numbers property, and you just type in 773, the property goes to 137. But right off the bat, I was like, wait, what does 137 mean? 137 actually is also a prime number, which means that 773 is like a super prime number, which means like the super blood moon, in other words. So if you do 137 again and put it in there, you'll see that it's actually the 33rd prime, which is the third prime. You get it? So this is also 773 is the third version of it. So this is the third one. You get it? So if you multiply it 3 times, that's the third one. 33. Then it goes to the second one, and then the second one is 137, and the third one is 773. That's why it's exactly from this time to there. So anyways, if you go to her lyrics of this song, ironically, the very first lyric that she says is last night was a car crash. If you go and you check the actual aerial view of the car, of the Tesla, it kind of does look like a car crash. And also, when you go down and you see this first verse that she talks about, the first verse, right? It was a dead conversation, but you were dead right. It's been 25 since our last goodbye. I want to know how you're sleeping if you're still mine. Now, here is where it gets weird. She said it's been 25 since our last goodbye. Now, how old was Holly Humberstone when Celeste died? If you go and just type in Holly Hubbarstone date of birth, December 17, 1999, she was 25 years old. That is not a coincidence, guys. This is how they do it. Artists exactly do it. They write it into, in other words, if you want to call it write into existence, or they want to like, it's just basically an art form. And this is how they do it. You understand? 100%, no doubt about it. Anyways, this video is getting too long. Last one was too long. I got too into it. But the thing is, if you guys want more, like I said, you can get into it. But also, I just want to point out one last thing before I go, is that she is connected to Taylor Swift. Very big on these numerology, very big on rituals, very big on blood rituals, very big on a lot of different things. I actually could make a whole video about Taylor Swift just by herself, but I'm not gonna because it's too long. It's been about 6 minutes. If you guys want a video on Taylor Swift, you know, I could do that for you guys. Anyone that you would want, anyone who's big, like a big one for me personally was when Linkin Park, when Chester died. That was a huge one for me. That hurt me, but I realized that actually had to do with the eclipse as well, guys. Unfortunately, the eclipses have a big thing, because the thing is with, you know, it's interesting. The last thing I want to just point out is that the reason why things are based off the moon cycles and the stars, etc., constellations, is because that when we live in cities, you know, they kind of take away the stars and stuff from us because the lights actually make it so that you can't see the stars, you can't see the constellations. That's the reason why. It's because they want to hide these things from you. They want to hide this type of knowledge, esoteric knowledge. This is ancient knowledge that you will never be able to basically accumulate because they are hidden. And that's why it's an info war. In other words, no, I'm not an info war person. I'm not into Alex Jones. I'm just saying that it's basically a way to hide the truth from you. Anyways, it's getting too long. If you guys want me to keep going, I'll make another video about it. If you guys support, blah, blah, blah. I'm trying to get to 100 subscribers, and that's pretty much it. All right, chat? Take care, much love and peace. Be safe.